Nathan Zegura here at Everbank Stadium in Jacksonville, where the Browns came down and got a much-needed victory, 18-13 over the Jags to even their season win total at 1-1. And this was not necessarily the prettiest game, although it had an opportunity to be that. But it was a game where the Browns showed their grit, their resiliency, and their ability to make a play when it mattered the most. So how did we get here? Well, the Browns, after a 3-and-out from the defense, the Browns offense marched down the field, the best opening drive we've seen for a while. The Jags had not given up a touchdown in the first quarter in 6 straight games. Well, the Browns got into the end zone on their opening drive. They were up 7-0. Really, this game felt like at many, many spots the Browns could put it away. Early in the third quarter, Trevor Lawrence had 16 yards passing. That's right, 16 yards passing. They had net 11. The Browns defense was phenomenal, but the Browns just couldn't put it away. Whether it was drop passes, Amari had a huge drop on a 3rd down. Whether it was when the special teams unit forced a turnover, Sam Kamara with a monster hit on Tank Bigsby. The Browns had recovered it deep in Jacksonville territory. It was negated by a penalty. Dustin Hopkins in the dynamic kickoff. The kicker can't cross the 50-yard line. He did that. The Jags got the ball back. And ultimately, it became a little bit of a seesaw battle. The Browns, you thought they could run away with it. Multiple opportunities to step on the throat of the Jacksonville Jaguars. After that initial touchdown, they get Dustin Hopkins field goals. The guy never misses. It was 13-3. Then all of a sudden, one big play from the Jags, 66 yards to Brian Thomas, and it was 13-10. The Browns would make it 16-10. The Jags would then make it 16-13. And here's where things got wild. The Browns looked to ice the game late in the fourth quarter. Sean Watson made a couple of huge throws to Jerry Jeudy. And Watson in this one, folks, played much better than his final stats would indicate. 22 of 34, should have been about 27 of 34. The Browns continue to drop the football. There were probably about 5 of them in this game. So they've got to help their quarterback out, who was good in the pocket. And as I said, I thought he played very, very well. They got some juice from D'Onta Foreman. He led the team in carries. Jerome Ford led them in yards. They made a nice 1-2 punch. The physicality, the north-south running of Foreman, and then Ford making big plays to the outside. Kevin Stefanski went for it on multiple 4th downs in this game. They brought Jameis Winston in to be that designated sneaker. He would sneak successfully twice, and then once in the end of the first half, they ran an outside run to Ford that had everybody fooled. Got a great block from James Hudson and Joel Bitonio, and it was a huge play for the Cleveland Browns that led directly to their last field goal in the first half. But they had many chances to put this one away. As I said, they did not. So here we go to the end of the game. It gets tense. The Browns look like they've done it. D'Onta Foreman busts through the left side. It's a 1st down. Browns at the Jags 10 with just over 2 minutes to go. Should be a good situation. Face mask on D'Onta Foreman at the end of the run. It backs them up. The next 3 plays, the Browns were called from holding. So the Browns went from 1st and goal at the 10 to over midfield. They would ultimately have to punt the football back to the Jags. And here's where Corey Bojorquez made the first of 2 plays of the game. The first one, a punt that landed at about the 1-inch line and like a nice wedge just spun right back, and it was down at the 1-yard line. On the very next play for the Jags, Alex Wright goes out. He gets a sack for a safety. Right now has a sack in 5 of his last 6 games. He's becoming a force for this Cleveland Browns defense. And so it was 18-13. With the new rule, the Jags declared they were going to do an onside kick. The Browns recovered it. They hit a high punt. James Brochet caught it. Very strange play. Browns get the ball back. All they got to do, run the clock out. The Jags only had 2 timeouts. Run the clock. At worst case scenario, the Jags get the ball back with less than 50 seconds. 1st down, run, timeout. 2nd down, run, timeout. 3rd down, they run a bootleg. And I'm guessing the idea was, look, if something's there that's wide open to get a 1st down and the game, throw it. If not, kneel. Well, at the end of that play, Watson was hit, almost a fumble. It ended up being called an incomplete pass. But what did that do? That left time on the clock for the Jags. The Jags would ultimately get all the way down to the Browns' 30-yard line. They had a shot into the end zone to try to win it, but MJ Emerson and Ronnie Hickman were there. They knocked it away, and the Browns won the game. That's all they needed to do. That was the mission. Come to Jacksonville, get a big conference win. They did that, 1-0 on the road. The defense last year struggled on the road. They only gave up 13. They were great here today. But there's still so much to clean up. The efficiency, the bad penalties, the mental mistakes. The Browns were penalized 13 times for 100 yards in this one. 4 of them on the offense on the last drive alone. You cannot get away doing that week after week. And so the Browns now have been penalized 24 times in 2 games. That is not sustainable. They've got to clean up these pre-snap penalties. They've got to clean up the post-snap penalties. And they've got to play smart, sound, disciplined football, because there's no doubt this team is talented, and this will be a momentum-building win, especially for quarterback Deshaun Watson. We'll have a full breakdown of this tomorrow for you on Browns Daily. Myself, Bo Bishop, and the Hoff, Joe Thomas. The Browns get it done. It was a roller coaster. Relax, Cleveland. You got the win, 1-1, and they will host the New York Giants next week.